All right, had an interesting morning hunt. Had some really good stuff and some really bad stuff. I got up extra early so I could leash him into the woods before the squirrels started moving. I had about a half a mile to go to the area that there's typically some squirrels in this place we run. And with him being a young dog, I wanted to cut out, the opportunity for him to learn bad habits or run around the woods and not be on game. From the moment, if I can really set him up for success. If the moment I unclip him, he's already really close to game that I know is there, and I think that develops a young dog a lot better. So I walked him that half mile. Another aspect of that is, and that if I had just unclipped him at the parking lot, let him run through the woods, that's another half mile where he could get deer, he could run trash. I avoid all that by leashing him in early. So I got up early, we did that. The whole time they weren't moving as fast or as early as I thought they would, and we stood there for quite a while, a good half hour with daylight, waiting on seeing or hearing some squirrels. And the whole time there's this tom turkey that's just hammering off on the ridge across from me, and he was really wanting to go after that, and I was telling him no. And we had a buzzard land in the tree above us, and he really wanted to get after that, and I told him no. So I got a little bit of light trash breaking opportunities there presented to me, but finally I heard the squirrels down the hill from us moving. It was in the same direction that Tom was, but I could see he was amped up. He could hear him. He wanted to go, so I thought it was worth the risk to cut him loose and let him drop down in that valley after them squirrels. I like running them in the early mornings. If you're in elevation in the hills like I am here in the Ozarks, pay attention to wind direction and thermals. I run them down in the valleys in the early morning because they can run the whole creek drainage down there, and they got the air currents from the thermals coming down the hill from the top. So any squirrel up above them, they can smell them where they otherwise wouldn't. Same thing in the daytime. You run them up on top of the ridges, right on the edge from where it flattens out on top to where it drops off on the side. They can catch those air currents moving up the hill whenever they warm up in the day. Those are little things that if you pay attention to can really set your dog up for success. So I cut him out. He kind of ran around kind of haphazardly for a little bit, but he ended up getting on a squirrel pretty quick. And this is why I'm a big proponent of staying in shape as a dog handler. I really think you need to be capable, stay as close to your dogs as you can, especially when they're young, and be capable of getting to the tree, within about 30 seconds, especially if you're running gray squirrels as often as they timber out. But I heard him get squirrely. I ran to it real quick. He wasn't barking or nothing yet. And when I got there, I could see the squirrel moving through the cedars, and I could see he was sorting all this stuff out. Again, he's a young dog. He hasn't been doing this very long. And he had the tree pegged that the squirrel went up, but then he was winding the squirrel as it was moving through the cedar tops and seeing them cedar tops move, and he's trying to go with it. And there wasn't really a tree. He was in the middle of the cedars, and there wasn't a tree within probably 15 yards of him, but he was right under that squirrel. And he let out a little yip, a little excited yip, like he knew he had the squirrel. And I thought as a handler, it was important for me to reward that, and time that well. So as soon as he let out that I got it yip, good boy, and then he just started, he started hammering on it, which is what I wanted. When they're young and figuring it out, I'm a little loose with their trees. As long as that squirrel's within 20 yards or so of where they're treeing, I think they did well. They'll lock down tighter the more experience they get. So I rewarded him. That to me was a successful tree. I saw the squirrel. It was within 10 or 15 yards of where he was, and from what the air was doing at that moment, he was where he should have been, even though he wasn't locked down right where that tree went up, or right where that squirrel went up that tree. But had I not been in shape or committed to staying close to my dog, I wouldn't have been there to help him out with that. And that's what I was getting at about the fitness is it's a big deal if you can be there to really time those learning opportunities and help them succeed. So after that, I let him stay on the tree for a good 4 or 5 minutes each time just to drive home. Hey, the chase ends here. Wanted him to spend the time barking. That said, I don't mind if when they get on the tree, if they circle out a little bit and check themselves, I'm okay with that. I want them to be confident in their own abilities. There's a difference in them running, 200 yards off and looking for a new squirrel and just running, re-tracking, re-following the track just to verify. I let them verify in their mind. I'm completely okay with that. But after that, I got to watch them, trail some more squirrels, figure out some more squirrels. He treed 4. I saw 2 of them. He got a couple den trees, and I'm okay with that. It's part of the game, especially in the mature woods. There's holes everywhere. It's just going to happen. And then after about the third or fourth time, it started warming up, and I still had another dog to run, so I went ahead and leashed him, brought him back to the car, and my Mullensfeist, my finished dog, is where things went bad today. I don't know, he got into some chicken in the trash last night. I woke up and there was chicken drug out on the floor. I don't know if that had him funny, but he was not himself on the hunt. Really, really got my blood going. He started out strong, hit right on a track, went to a tree. He was about 100 yards away, and I heard him do a little yip, yip bark, not as normal. I got you figured out, you know, hammer down. I know there's a squirrel here, come get it for me bark. And as soon as he saw me, he took off. He just took off down the hill. And he got a quarter mile away fast, and he just started doing that yip bark down there. So I don't know if he was chasing turkeys or deer. He's trash broke well. I mean, he ain't chased deer or nothing in a long, long time, but you know, every dog I guess will have their day. But right then and there I could see that he was not hunting. He was doing something funny, and I wasn't going to let him get away with it. So I hit the toner for him to come back, and he just flat ignored it. And so I lit him up, and he ignored that. So I turned up the pressure and I lit him up, and I heard him yelping down there when I was lighting him up. And he finally came up the hill, wouldn't come to me, he just ran right back to the car. And by then I'm hot. My blood is boiling, my temper's flaring. I'm super mad at this dog. And I got to the car and I could see he wasn't looking right in the face. Like his mind was gone. He did not like getting shocked, and he was really, really, really worked up, kind of hot from it getting warm. It's in the 60s, and you know, that ain't that hot, but that can get a dog hot quick. And you know, I was really, really mad, and it took a lot for me to not let my temper get the best of me in that moment. I wanted to just give him the toner and fry him till he came to me, because he knows better. But I just looked at the situation and thought, you know, take a few deep breaths, put your dog up, and revisit this later. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I don't want to hurt him in that state of mind. You know, one bad morning, and in a few days I won't care anymore about this. And whereas if I'd have just laid into him with that collar in the parking lot, I could have done a lot of damage. So it's almost April, and I don't think I can run in April here in Arkansas, pleasure running like this. I got to reread the rules, and yeah, I think they take it off limits during turkey season. And if that's the case, well, I'll find the silver lining in that, and that's a solid month of me to work this obedience issue out with him. So that was today's hunt. Overall pretty happy with the started dog. He just keeps getting better and better. My older one, yeah, we need a little discipline work, a little obedience.